I'd like to introduce Steve from Artistic Skylights. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Tom.
We used Artistic Skylights in the solar barn project. You know, the solar barn project is all about adding 40 kilowatts of solar to the barn roof. But while we were doing that, we realized we wanted to bring some natural skylight into the building itself, and that's where your products came into the mix. We used a curb mount fixed skylight there because nobody was going to be opening them, but you carry and manufacture a lot of different products.
Yes, we do, Tom. Actually, on display here, we've got a couple of different examples. The specific skylight we supplied for your project was actually very similar to this. This is a curb mounted glass skylight.
Okay.
The difference with this particular model here is actually this is a venting unit, which I'll just demonstrate. So it's actually a power operated, wireless controlled operating skylight. So it's a great way to bring some fresh air into a space with all the benefits of having the natural light.
Right, and especially in a place where you can't gain access to it to open it manually or something like that.
Yes, I mean it can be up in a very high ceiling and it's a totally wireless system. It also has a little moisture sensor that's mounted inside, so if it starts to rain and the skylight's open and you're not home, it'll actually automatically close itself, so it kind of prevents water from getting into the home. So with our glass skylights, we have a lot of different options for the glazing. We can offer clear glass, so we have tempered glass, we have glass that can come with argon gas to give you better thermal performance. Different finishes available to match your shingles. We have black. And on display in the middle here, we've got our mill finished. This is an acrylic model, so it's actually a different material.
Now let's talk a little bit about acrylic versus glass and why I would use one versus the other.
You know, they each have their pluses and minuses. I mean, they have different properties. Obviously, glass is a flat application. It's got a more sort of a subtle look. It's a little bit more low profile. So for a sloped roof, it might give it a nicer look to have sort of a low profile skylight versus having a sort of a domed look. So really it's more of an aesthetic thing. We do have some more options for glass. The glass technology has really evolved in the last few years for better energy savings. Our glass skylights are Energy Star tested and rated. It's a nice option for a homeowner looking for the best possible thermal performance. Our dome skylights are a little bit more economical. You know, it's a nice way to bring some light into a space without breaking the bank. And, one of the
there's a price advantage when you go to the dome.
There is a little bit of a price advantage, and one of the big advantages with a dome skylight is it can actually be mounted on a flat roof. Whereas with our glass units, we do have to have a little bit of a slope, so we're a little more limited as to where we can install. So again, they have their different advantages and disadvantages, but either would serve the purpose very well. The last product on the bottom here is a self-flashing or deck mount skylight. This can actually mount right to the roof. It doesn't require a curb, so it's a nice low-profile design. Comes in different sizes and different finishes, and we can do this in glass or acrylic.
So let's talk about energy then for a minute. Much like windows then, when people are deciding about the windows and the energy conservation and energy applications they want there, the same kind of applies here?
Yes, there's a lot of different options with glass. You know, there's glass we can offer argon filled. We have the low E performance. With acrylic, we're a little more limited as far as the options. Basically, we have a double dome or a triple dome. The triple dome performs very well, but comparatively with glass, there's a lot more options for thermal performance. So for the homeowner that's very concerned about energy savings and they'd like to see that Energy Star labeling on the skylight, this is really their choice for that purpose.
And in that, they could get a triple pane, low E squared skylight.
Yeah, we have a lot of glazing options. We're not limited to one or two brands or types of glass. Artistic manufactures a whole different range of glazing options for the homeowner. So there's a lot of possibilities, and depending on what their objective is and what their budget is, we can deliver that.
So then, on the energy theme then as well, we also get into solar heat gain when we're talking about a skylight. So what are the options then for knocking that down? Overheating that space.
Yeah, very good question. Because obviously, as we bring more light into a space, we can bring more heat. So the way to manage that with glass, we've got a lot of different tint options. So typically, we'll recommend at least a bronze sort of tinted glass, and we find that bronze does prevent some of the solar heat from getting through the space versus a totally clear panel. Same thing with our dome skylights. We actually have a white inside dome that we can offer, so that just gives you a nice soft sort of diffuse light. If the homeowner or building owner wants to have bring some daylight into a space, it's a nice way to do that without bringing a lot of heat. Again, the bronze would be a nice compromise, sort of halfway. You can still see the sky, you can still see outdoors, but it does block some of that solar heat.
Okay. Now you have some standard size that you're showing here, but you can manufacture almost any size.
Yes, correct. We have the ability to custom manufacture. So if you have an unusual size or a different kind of wonky, maybe it's an older skylight and sort of an offbeat size, we can manufacture it to pretty much any dimension.
So these look very residential, especially the black and the brown on the bottom here. The middle one looks a bit more commercial.
Commercial.
You manufacture for both.
Yes.
Well, that's great, Steve. I mean, those are lots of different options for the homeowner and builder. You know, we use the curb mounted fix that you mentioned, and we're really happy with the ease of installation. Easily mounted on top of the 2x4 curbs, a few screws, the flashing, and so we really liked the ease of installation of the unit.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And you know, the objective is just to bring some natural light into a space without breaking the bank and simplified installation. So I'm glad it really worked out for you. That sounds great.
Well, you know, and that was really important to us within the overall project. You know, this barn started off as, you know, old barn boards. There were cracks all the way through the barn and stuff like that. Now, of course, that we've got new barn board on it, you know, there's very little light leakage. We knew we needed to bring some light into that without having to open up the doors all the time. The skylights have really brought that in, and I've been so impressed with, even in old areas of the barn, where we're bringing natural light into the structure.
That's fantastic.
You know, and it's a great complement, of course, to the solar panels that are going on top. The milled finish is looking very much like the solar panels that are going to be surrounding it, so it just kind of all works together.
Fantastic.